Not gonna lie, I just ate an organic brownie. I guess you could say I'm not a good boy, but the truth of the matter is I've been trying to film this review for several times now, and I keep on falling asleep. These doubleheaders, man, they really kick my butt. Anyways, enough exposition. Good Boys. It's now in theaters, and this is a film that is about three teenagers as they go from fifth grade to sixth grade. They are now in middle school, and they are seeking out women. They're seeking out drugs. They're seeking out all these things, these new ideas to them. And all of these shticks are cut into a 90-minute runtime film presented to us as the audience. This was a movie I was honestly kind of excited for, but at the same time scared for, because on one end, it's interesting that it's the fact that it's teenagers and an R-rated comedy. On the other end, the trailers were very gag heavy. They were focusing so heavily on the gags that I was worried, honestly, because I feel like so oftentimes trailers reveal the biggest surprises and twists and turns and humorous moments in the trailers. And so I was nervous because although Good Boys looked interesting, I was just kind of like, is it going to be one of those movies? And before I get into the positives, I'll say this. I think the trailers reveal about 55-60% of the jokes. That being said, those jokes are funny, and the other 40% are little moments that are still nonetheless really effective. I think this movie, from a comedy perspective, I think it hits the marks because it is oftentimes funny. If you like raunchy humor and at the same time dialogue-driven humor, I think you'll really dig this movie because truth of the matter is, it's funny if you can dig that kind of humor. If not, I don't really know. I don't. But at the same time, you also can't help but enjoy the three teenagers, played by Jacob Tremblay, my mistake, Keith L. Williams, and Brad Newton. I think the three of them together are incredible. They are not only funny, but they really do kind of riff off of each other, and they do a great job of it. Also, I really appreciate the fact that this film did, although break into certain tropes, it did also break out of certain tropes. My biggest problem with certain tropes with comedies, my biggest trope problem, I should say, is when you have a movie that's two-thirds of a comedy, throwing everything at you to make you laugh, and then the final act it gets super serious all of a sudden. It's totally inconsistent and just way off. And also, another thing with comedies is that I absolutely hate when they have friends that are just like they've been friends for years and there's like a little incident and they hate each other and then they get back together and it's like, what the heck? This movie, I think, breaks those tropes. I think that I don't want to say it completely transcends, but it does make those scenes that are in this movie tolerable and even funny. And I think that's really interesting because I hope that more comedies take cues at realizing that tropes are only good if you're able to break past them. And I think this movie does it for the most part. I think it's not a perfect movie. I'll get into the negatives later, but I think it's a well-acted, funny movie. And I think if you're looking for a movie that is well-acted and is funny, you'll appreciate this movie. However, as someone that's a movie buff and a movie critic, I can't help but say this. I think that this movie, as enjoyable as it is, the flaws do kind of stand out. Let me explain. So I think that the biggest thing is the filmmaking. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's so ordinary. With the fact that it's so ordinary, it does take me out of the movie a little bit. Reason for that is because I think that if the filmmaking was good or even more passable than usual, I think it would have elevated the movie even more instead of this movie feeling like it's basic, but elevated by the fact that there's humor. I don't like that. I don't like describing this movie as that, but that's kind of what it is, given the fact that the filmmaking just, it doesn't pop out. It doesn't flare. There's nothing really to it. And it's not even like done artsy. It's passable. And it stinks because you have a script that just kind of seems like it's above passable. Because there are good messages of this movie. I really also like the messages. I forgot to mention that. I liked the messages of how you can be friends with someone and not have to hang out with them every second of the day and have to have the same exact interests. I like that. I like that message, and I like how this film focused on that. But again, that being said, I wish the filmmaking was better than the sum of its parts. I think that it's passable for sure, but I think it could have been done better. Also, with the way it ends, it's not that it's a bad ending. It's just okay. It's an okay ending to a movie that, for the most part, really worked well. But again, it's a movie that if you want raunchy humor or dialogue-driven humor, I think you'll appreciate this movie because it works on both fronts. Also, very well acted, and on top of that, it's got a soundtrack that I feel like most people would really dig. But again, those flaws do kind of stick out like a sore thumb for me personally. I know everyone's different, so other people might not feel that way, but nonetheless, for me, Good Boys, it's an enjoyable movie. I think it's definitely a movie that you watch with a lot of teens and above, and they'll probably really dig it as well. And also, it enhances the experience because if you have friends laughing, you'll probably laugh as well. And yeah, I'm curious to see if it's going to hold up upon second viewing. But for now, screw it. Good Boys, I'll be giving a 3.5 out of 5 star rating, which for those like a hot sauce rating, it's the good old Texas Pete hot sauce rating, which essentially means it's a rock solid movie, specifically comedy. And 3.5 out of 5 stars, it's solid. It's solid stuff, but for a comedy, it's even better because I'll usually give comedies 3 out of 5 or under. So the fact that this got higher than that, it's good. It's good for me personally, at least. But guys, Good Boys, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know your comment in the comment section down below. And again, guys, I do apologize for being tired. It's just double headers are a lot. It really is for me. And it's just been a rough couple of days in terms of sleep. But anyways, enough exposition. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Good Boys. And do you think there's going to be a sequel? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.